Hello.
There we go.
Up close
What
in
I
person.
call the up the nostril one.
Yeah.
That's the that's my favorite. It's
Uh,
I've got my TV over here with business news on it. Invariably, you'll see somebody very important sitting in there, what looks like their closet with the
Yeah.
on their laptop going straight up their nose.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
okay, that's
Television's
a great.
changed
Yeah,
from,
look,
you know.
exactly. Well, that's awesome. Mr. Wilkerson, how are you, sir?
Good morning. Sorry to interrupt earlier, but I
Oh
appreciate
no,
the invite this morning.
I let you in by mistake on that one. I've got a standing meeting with my virtual assistant out of the Philippines every morning at 7:45, and then it rolls right into an 8:45 with my processing and operations team. And that usually goes for about 45 minutes, and had to shortcut that one a little bit this morning so we could get this done, which worked out well. Keep that short and sweet.
All
They're
set for
crushing it for us.
all set for a successful 2026.
Yeah, we're off to a good start with closings. The originations are slow. Our pipeline, the leads, they always slow down over the holidays, from that Thanksgiving till beginning of January. And I'm seeing a ton of housing coming on the market. I mean, the listing, which typically happens first week, people have been holding off on putting the house on the market, and now they're ready. We've got one right down the street that surprised all of my neighbors and me yesterday. Signed one up, and we pray that they sell it for that, because we're not a $1 million neighborhood here. We're at 64th Street in Bell, and we bought this house 11 years ago for 358,000. And the house across the street remodeled, added about 1,000 square feet, sold for 1.4 about 2 years ago, and this one here just listed at 1.7,
Hmm.
and it's about 500 square feet bigger than ours. And the market's generally been soft for the last 6 months. So the thought that this area may go for that would be amazing. We have little larger lots, no HOA, close to Kierland, close to 101, all of that. We feel like we're in a great location, but it's kind of nuts what these
Wow.
asking prices have
Being
gone
close
to.
to
So
Kierland and not being an HOA is a big deal.
agreed. And we just added a casita. My God bless her, my 90-year-old mother-in-law, we built a casita on for her about a year ago. And so that added another garage. To a 2,000 square foot house, we've added a garage and another 800 square feet, a livable space for her. So we've taken ours up, but these lot sizes, these homes were built in the early 80s. So we've got, a little over quarter acre lots, nearly a third of an acre if you're on the corner like we are. So there's room to do some of the things we want to do, and we're seeing a lot of folks taking advantage of that. So
Nice.
yeah, it's kind of cool to see what's going on, and hopefully 2026, with interest rates starting to come down and the market kind of gearing back up again, we're hoping for a big 26. How does 26 look for you guys? Oh, let's back up just a little bit, only because we kind of jumped right into it. Yeah, I love Joe Rogan, and sometimes the show starts and they're in the middle of a conversation already, and then there's never really an introduction. So let's back up a little bit. And John, why don't you introduce you guys, what you do, how
Yeah.
you do it, why you do it, and then we'll kind of we'll go from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Chris, thanks for having us. Love being here. So, Exit Factor, the best way I know how to describe it is we help business owners get a value increase over time for their business. 80% of a business owner's net worth is usually tied up in their business, but that business is illiquid.
Mm,
It's only liquid if someone's going to buy. And
right.
8 out of 10 businesses in America that try to go to market to sell don't sell. And it's not because they're bad businesses. They weren't ready for selling, and they didn't build their value over time. They worked on top line revenue, but didn't build value to where a buyer would be attracted. That's what we do. We run fire drills, not literal fire drills. You'll think about the best way to explain it for us to an owner is real quick. It's just the analogy. Christopher, you probably remember elementary school, right? Maybe a
Long
minute.
time ago. Oh yeah.
Okay, right.
Totally.
In kindergarten, the first thing they taught us, probably the first week, first day, maybe was boys and girls always know where the exit is in any room you're in, right?
Hmm.
And boom, we learned a lesson. But then in elementary, middle school, I grew up in California when I was a little guy, and we did earthquake drills and fire drills.
Okay.
In the 40s and 50s, we did bomb drills. Today, we do, unfortunately, active shooter drills. The point is, we do drills.
Right. Right.
As a business owner, what we do is we do a valuation of the company drill We're looking for what's suppressing current value, and we run an owner preparedness drill. Are you prepared to exit personally? Because there's two paths, right? There's the business path and then the owner's path. They're together now, but later they're going to be separate. So we do an assessment on their personal readiness to transact as well as the business. That's like a fire drill. And fire drills don't cause fires. If a fire comes, you know how to get to safety. And here's a bottom line. What is it? Well, all business owners are gonna leave. 10 out of 10 of us are gonna leave the earth, and 10 out of 10 business owners are gonna leave their business eventually. And so we run those drills to maximize their value so that when they do try to go to market, it'll actually sell and not be an illiquid asset they can't turn into cash for retirement. So this is more of a business plan on how to run a business than it is about a transaction of exiting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And your role versus James's role?
Yeah. So I'm the principal. Exit Factor is a franchise. We're running in 23 states, 40 offices, 2-year-old brand, fastest growing franchise right now in the United States. So it's taking off. It's an underserved market, under 50 million and under the United States. That market's not being served by this kind of wraparound care to maximize value. And so my role is, the owner of the franchise, founder, the principal of the Valley, effort here. We have the Valley that we take care of. And Jim is a treasure. He has his own background, but he is experienced in the industry of preparing businesses for sale. And he joined our team, left another firm to join us. And I'll let Jim explain what he does because he's out there carrying the pails, making it happen.
All right. Jim, give us a little background on you and your involvement in Exit Factor.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. And once again, thanks for having us.
Yeah,
but prior to coming to Exit Factor, I've done a number of different things. I was a financial advisor at a wealth management firm for about 30 years, working with business owners. So this topic came up in a business retirement plan, obviously. And then I went to work for a local business broker for the last few years, buying and selling businesses. And I realized after, being in that industry for a while that there's almost a tragedy going on. I would say 10%, if that, of the business owners that I worked with had ever done any exit planning. They just woke up one day or decided a few months before, I want to sell my business, whatever it is. And there were so many gaps and so many things that they could have done to get better, ready for sale that they didn't do. And so a lot of the businesses that you see, like in Biz Buy Sell and some of the other portals, it's like the business brokerage world MLS system. A lot of those businesses stay up there for sale forever. I mean, years in some cases. And they don't sell. I had one that I listed a year and a half ago. It's still up there.
Wow.
Just because they refuse to do what they need to do to make a buyer feel comfortable about buying an asset that has some long-term value. So it's kind of a tragedy. And the valuation part of it that we do up front also is something that's completely underserved. Most business owners haven't done a valuation. If they have, it's been a long time ago. So they really don't know what their business is worth. And as a result, they come in with expectations that are completely out of line. I mean, if you built a business, you've been sweating blood and tears for 30 years to build your business, and you think it's worth $1 million. And then we do the analysis and we come back and say, it's really in the open market, you'll be lucky to get 300. That's a tough conversation. And that's really the reason I joined Exit Factor, is because they have a world-class platform that we can use, completely comprehensive, to take to a business owner and educate them about all the different ways that they can improve the value of their business. And we work with them to get to that point, either on a one-time basis or an extended basis. And it's exit's kind of a misnomer. We do that, but it's a growth value system that we give them.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, there's 4 ways that a business owner can sell their business. John was right. Everybody's going to sell. They can sell it. They can liquidate it and close it down. They can hand it off to family members or employees. Or the best thing for a lot of people is they don't have to walk away. They can position the company so that the business can actually run without their involvement, very little involvement. And that's a big issue for most business owners that are working 60, 70, 80 hours a week. They want more free time, but they don't necessarily want to sell their business. And our system is designed to provide that for them as well. So that's why I'm here.
Excellent. Well, obviously you've got the background, you've been through this, you've been a business owner yourself, you've helped other businesses buy and sell. You guys sound like you have an amazing, it doesn't sound like it's, or maybe it is specific to your exit factor. You talked about the process and what you guys do to help business owners understand it. John, you were talking about the disparity between what a business owner needs to sell, what they want versus what the business is. Can you go into more detail on that, where that delta is between, early on that they're in one place and then it tends to diverge?
Yeah, it's best, like Jim alluded, value is an opinion, right? The owner thinks it's worth this, and so, but how is value determined, right? Because to get to your question, we got to just peel a couple of layers down. 80% of the value of a business comes from 4 intangible forms of capital that people aren't being taught or trained, owners, when I say people, on how to focus on those intangible capitals. These intangible capitals, if they're not addressed, create a lot of risk inside your business that will cause buyers and buyers' lenders to walk away. So most owners are chasing more top-line revenue. We just need more sales, more sales, more sales. Nothing wrong with that, right? Unless the company can't structurally hold the volume, right? So what we teach is the 4 intangible capitals that actually comprise 80% of the value of a company comes from these 4 intangible capitals. Now, who decides why the 80% factor gets applied from these 4? The open market. The buyer determines, because it's the buyer who's going to make it happen or not happen, right? So if the owner can prepare for the 4 things that the buyer's really going to care about, cash is important. That'll attract them in, but then they're going to look at these other 4 things. And if they don't see strength there, they're walking. They're not buying. You've got an illiquid asset. So those 4 things, really quick, that we help owners learn how to measure. We'll measure it once, and as Jim said, we'll even come alongside on a long term and help them grow and scale. But number 1 is human capital. You've got structural capital. You've got customer capital, and then social capital. So those are the 4 intangibles. They don't show up on your balance sheet, but they're extremely important. When you look at your human capital, that's is the owner too involved, and who's running the business, and can the business run without them, right? That's the human side. The structural capital is processes. Is this all tribal knowledge? Does it die with the owner, or is it written down what we do, and can anybody step in and see it, learn it, and understand it? This is a huge risk for a buyer to buy a company where nothing's documented, right? No systems, no processes. Customer capital, does all your revenue come from one customer, or is it spread out? Do you have renewable contracts? All those things are the things that we look at to help determine value, and that drives the overall net worth of the company. But the stronger your 4 intangibles are, now here's the magic, the higher your multiplier. The more, some businesses will sell at a 2 times, 3 times multiplier, which it sounds great, right? But if you're best in class on your 4 intangibles, you can get a 7 times, 8 times, 12 times multiplier applied to the same company, same revenue, same revenue coming in, but one will go for 3 times multiplier, the other will go for 9. That's a huge difference in
sure,
price, because you worked on the 4 intangibles. It's not just about cash.
Okay, so what you're doing is you're increasing the perception by the buyer, perception and reality of what's going on in the business and the likelihood of it continuing in the profitable way that it has been, which adds more value to it. Okay.
And to your point, here's the stats, 4 years of data, exit factors of 4-year-old brand. Our clients nationwide on average engaging us see a profitability increase ranging between 25 to 35% before they ever go to market to sell. That sale could happen 10 years from now. But because they've engaged, and that you follow the principle of working on
current profit.
Current
Their
profit.
current profit. I'm with you. Okay.
Yeah, because
Not profit on the sale, but literally annual profit, net
today,
profit,
yeah,
because of the four
yes.
intangibles that you're solidifying for them.
Yeah, and we're helping them see, because this is what builds value. So when you're improving efficiency, when your human capital is stronger, when your social capital is stronger, when your customer concentration is more spread out, you become more profitable. Your efficiencies go up because
Sure.
things are documented. That's an immediate enjoyment. So think about this. Owners are getting more of their time back, to Jim's point earlier, right? And their companies are increasing in profitability before they ever exit.
Right.
We're helping them that when they do go to exit, it's going to transact, it's going to sell, and it's going to sell for a higher multiplier, and they enjoyed all this extra profitability in the meantime, right?
Interesting.
This is a business model, not, exit factor is a bit of a misnomer in our name. This is not about a future transaction, although it'll come. This is about how to grow your business through valuation increase incrementally.
Okay. So tell me this. I've seen and talked with over the years so many business consultants. They want to come in, they want to talk about EOS, they want to talk about all these other operation systems and how to do it. Where do you guys differ from systems and consultants like that?
Yeah, I'll let Jim take that one.
Well, as an example, EOS is a process business more than anything else. We dive into all the different areas of the business that John alluded to that most companies don't do. They like to look at the numbers, the balance sheets. They say, well, we got to let's hire more salespeople, let's get more revenue, let's get more profits, and let's see if we can make your business better. Because this thing was designed by a business broker and a team of business brokers, they saw the same problems that I had. So this is a much deeper dive in terms of what we provide as far as value goes. So the process itself is, revolves around a 2-hour interview with about, 75, 80 questions. And then we give them a report that addresses each area that shows their deficiencies and how it compares, how their business would compare to their peers in the industry, nationally.
Okay, so you're benchmarking.
Yes.
Company, and your ranking is down here, and the average is up here. You're going to see that.
And here's what to do as a result of it. That's the other thing.
Got it.
That's all built into our program. And I've looked at these other programs, and they're good. They really are. Value Builder's got a good program. EOS has got a good program. I think this one is just a little bit more in depth and is more focused on one-on-one relationships.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I've heard so far is these 4 intangibles, only one of them typically is being addressed by an EOS or maybe one of the other, where you guys are addressing all 4.
Yeah. They're primarily to your point, Chris. They're primarily addressing structural capital operations.
Okay.
Right. Operations. And then finance, to Jim's point, those two things. And they're rarely are they talking about the social, the human, and the customer capital holistically.
Gotcha.
Because those are things the buyer cares about. And the buyer's lender. Because every buyer's coming with a lender. If your company is going to go on market for $7 million, I seriously doubt anybody's coming with a $7 million check. There's a lender involved. And that lender is going to look over the shoulder of the buyer deep into the company during due diligence. They're going to look at everything because they're taking the risk, right? And if the buyer's lender doesn't like what they see in those 4 intangibles or on the balance sheet, they're going to basically say to the buyer, "We're sorry, we're out."
Gotcha.
Well, that's why they don't transact. So this is why it's a different approach. It's just uniquely different than what other operating systems are offering. They're great companies with good plans, right? We're coming at it from Jim's point, from that exit in mind. Because one of the things we also do, and Christopher, you'll appreciate this, being in what you do, right? Helping people with like an important decision of, buying a home, a second home, whatever that strategy is, and the lending side is, we don't just work exclusively from the viewpoint of the business's valuation. We also work on the owner's readiness to go to transact.
Okay.
Because most owner founders get their identity, it's not wrong, it just is, from being involved in the
Sure.
business. They started, right?
Yeah.
But most owners don't have an active plan for what they want to do post exit.
Mhm.
You can only play so much golf.
Wait, hold it.
Right.
Is that true? That's
Meaning this, I'll give you a stat from the National Exit Institute, who surveyed, did their last big survey of exited business owners nationwide. I think it's something that was 80% is high. It was either 80 or 90, I can't remember, but it was high.
75%.
75, thank you. That was close. 75% of owners 1 year after exiting, regardless of the size of the wire transfer,
right.
like could be, modest or a lot, didn't matter. 75% of them regretted selling their business,
Wow.
regardless of how much cash showed up in the bank,
And the most common reason?
because they didn't have anything to do. They think about being an owner of a business. You're fully engaged, right?
Yep. Yeah.
You're giving away value and impact services, goods to the community. You've got
Right.
friendships. You're involved in philanthropic work. Christopher, I know enough about you, personally, to know that you have a lot of things you do to engage the business community that are out of the overflow of who you are, right? And when that's gone, and the business owner doesn't know what the matter of fact, the mortality rates on people retiring is not good. And so
Really?
the bottom line is, because we understand these stats and we know that a year later 75% regretted it, well, let's talk about that now during the measurement, during the fire drill. Because we're fire drilling the business as well as the personal readiness of the owner. Is there a wealth gap? So we're going to bring their financial advisor to the table. If they don't have one, we're going to help them find one, so that we can identify the gap they need to move into retirement. And can this illiquid business actually be sold, and will it close their retirement gap? If not, if there's a gap there and the sale of the business won't get the owner where they need to be, we can discover exactly what that number is and then put the business on a growth trajectory to close that gap.
Got it.
There's all these nuances that we bring. So it's not just the business. It's not just EOS. It's us helping the business get more efficient in value, but working with the owner to be healthy post exit.
Got it.
And to add to that, we really act as a quarterback in our long-term engagements.
Yeah.
So we bring all the right people to the table that they might need, like if they don't, a CPA, a financial planner, a trust and estate person. All these things come together, a business lawyer, whatever's needed. We bring those people to the table during the engagement and manage that for them. So we act as a quarterback in a case like that.
Yeah, that way they can focus on their business rather than, we need their help, but we can quarterback.
Got it. Okay. And we've got about 5 minutes left. Answer a couple other questions for you. How do you guys get paid? This all sounds amazing. And I'm sure people watching this are thinking, oh, how do I pay for this? How much is it? How do they charge?
Yeah.
So give us a little bit of
real quick there. So we can't help anybody without that fire drill, right? That assessment where we measure. If you think about the fire drills in elementary school, you may have seen the person outside with a clipboard and a stopwatch measuring, right? And logging. Right. That's what our assessment does. It's comprehensive. Jim alluded to it. So, like hundreds of questions we're going to ask. We're going to bring about a 40 to 50 page report. That engagement, that measurement can be a one and done, because we're going to measure it, show you everything we learned, Everything you need to know. We're not going to hold anything back. You're going to know the real state of your company, the value range, what's wrong, why it's wrong, what's right. That engagement, it's $5,500. It takes us about 3 weeks to put it all together. Once we have everything we need, we bring our
Okay.
team around the table, we strategize on it, and we have a sit down, debrief, and make the full report to the ownership group, to the owner or
Okay.
the ownership group. Then we're done. Unless they would like ongoing help on a runway to get
Mhm.
value to increase over 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. Some businesses will actually sign up and put us on an annual fire drill, annual drill. We show
Okay.
up here, we remeasure, give them the results. They may say, hey, would you work with us mid-year on this? So we have consulting hours available, but they're a la carte. We build what we do post-measurement on what the customer needs based on
Got it.
what they need. So everything from there is
Okay.
custom made.
Gotcha. Okay. And how many team members do you have here in town? So you got the Valley, you're working the Phoenix metropolitan area.
Yeah, I think we're at 4 team members, Jim. Am I
Right.
right about that?
So
4. Yeah, 4. I'm looking to add a few more in the first quarter of 2026.
And so as we wrap up, tell me who would be a good candidate to join you guys?
I love bringing on former business owners who are bored.
Okay.
They've transacted.
that 25% or the 75%, I guess, that are not happy,
Yeah,
or
or
wish that
the
they wouldn't
happy
have sold.
ones. Or the happy ones. Entrepreneurs
Okay.
are an interesting breed. We love adding value and helping people succeed. So
Right.
our perfect avatar joining our team is somebody that's transacted out of a business, who's sold it already. Maybe it went swimmingly well, or it was a disaster, but they learned, right? And they want to give, and they want to give back, and you can only play so much golf, and they just, they can come and join us on their hours, their terms, get as involved or uninvolved as they want to be, as long as they're
Okay.
bringing value to the table.
Gotcha. Awesome. So in closing, anything you guys want to kind of wrap up with? And obviously, please tell us the best way to get a hold of you guys.
Yeah.
Jim?
Well, I'll go and then let
Oh,
Jim end. You can
Okay.
just
okay.
you can if you want to just look for us, you can go to exitfactor.com. And that'll take you to our national site. If you want to find our local office, you can just search for us in Scottsdale, or you can go to exitfactor.com / Scottsdale Metro, and it'll pop us up. You'll find us there
Okay.
online. Yeah, Jim, you want to wrap up with a few words?
Yeah, there was one part of this that we kind of missed, and you were talking about the price point on the assessment package. Every business owner will get access to our portal. The people that created this program have developed hundreds of hours of training specific to each topic that goes into our report, and they can access it at any time. It's a learning portal. So it's an educational system that's there in the background for them at any time that they need it.
Yeah.
So once they've engaged you, there's a site to go back to for some
Yep.
self-taught. Okay. Got it. So they're still part of the system, part of that. And
Yeah.
then, of course, you guys are there for anything else that they want to engage you with moving forward.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Gosh, this has been great. We're right on time here. I appreciate you guys joining us this morning, and we will get this all sliced and diced and put together, send you guys a copy of this over, then get this out to our YouTube channel. Make that happen. Great to get to know you guys. I know you're fairly new still to Accelerant, which this is how you and I know each other, how we know each other on
Yep.
there. And looking forward to this year, 2026. I know we'll come across each other again soon. And again, thanks again for joining us.
We appreciate the opportunity.
All right.
I'll look for you on the golf course, buddy.
There you go.
That's where I'll be, given the choice.
See you later.
All right. Take care,
Thanks,
guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Got it.